We kind of gave it away in the title of the evening, An Evening with Eli Manning, so I can't really draw out the suspense. But anybody that's here obviously knows who he is. He's an iconic New Yorker now. I know he came from New Orleans, but he's a New Yorker now, whether he likes it or not. And once you win a Super Bowl with the Giants, you are part of forever, and that's something that Phil Simms could tell you and Jeff Hostetler as well. So. Won an improbable Super Bowl with the Giants, beating the Patriots, ending their undefeated season. And rather than have me talk about it, let's hear from him. Ladies and gentlemen, let's have a nice warm welcome for Eli Manning. Do you feel like a New Yorker?
I do. How you doing?
Good. How you doing?
No, I do. I mean, I've been here 6 years now, and I love New York. I love being up here and spending time and the people and the fans, and so I'm a New Yorker and proud to be one.
Now the Super Bowl this year, I'm sure you were rooting for your brother because it's blood.
Right.
But even if he lost, your hometown team won.
Right.
So did it give you any solace at all?
Not a whole lot, just because once you come to the NFL and you're playing, especially I'm in the NFC. The Saints are in the NFC. They kicked our butt this year. You kind of lose that loyalty pretty quickly. You're like, what? I thought I was coming home and they put a beating on us. So I was rooting hard for Peyton, and I'm happy for the city of New Orleans and everything it's been through, and I think they're still partying right now down there. So so that in that aspect it was good, but I was rooting hard for Peyton, and I've been to a Super Bowl and we both won one, and that's such a unbelievable feeling, and he's now, I think, felt obviously the both sides, and it's not as fun losing one for sure.
Now, you had a little bit of an ulterior motive other than just rooting for your brother. You're a little superstitious because the last time you won a Super Bowl, Peyton won it the year before.
Exactly.
So you thought that was going to happen again.
Yes, it's automatically. It's that easy, and because I had I had no plans of going to their AFC Championship game in Indianapolis, and I started thinking, I was like, wait a minute, 3 years ago I went to the AFC Championship game and they played New England. They beat New England. They went to the Super Bowl. They won the Super Bowl. We won the Super Bowl. So I'm like, I gotta go to Indianapolis. I gotta keep everything the same, keep my same routine. I wore the same outfit to the Super Bowl the year before in Miami, where they so everything was the same.
What do you think happened in that Super Bowl?
They just got outplayed. It was the Saints played awesome. Drew Brees got on fire in the second half. It was kind of a weird flow to the game. Kind of the first half, the Colts had the ball a lot of the game. All of a sudden, that third quarter, they started off with the onside kick, got that. You kind of thought things might swing in the Saints' favor, but the Colts got the ball and drove right down and scored. But then they never had the ball much after that. So it's just Saints, they just played better and deserved to win.
Isn't there a little bit of a sibling rivalry, though? Now that he didn't win, you could get to 2 Super Bowls before
tied,
he does.
Right? Yeah, we're still tied at 1. I guess exactly. I guess there is. We support each other though, and I was rooting hard for Peyton. I wanted him to get a Super Bowl, and he supports me, and so we try to help each other, and I've been talking to him a bunch, since the game, just try to get him to laugh and get his spirits up, and he's in good
still
shape.
Down about it?
No, he's good now. He's good, and he's just he's already focused on next year and see what they can do, and so he's doing well, but we really do support each other, and unless we're playing each other in a Super Bowl one day, we're gonna root for each other forever in that situation.
One more question about Peyton. I asked you this on the radio show when you joined us. Is he the best quarterback you've ever seen? You think he's the best quarterback who ever lived?
I do. I'm just thinking. He's in that argument, and if you can ask that question about somebody, then obviously they're playing pretty good football, and he's been playing great for a long time, and he just what he does for that team, and if he's one of those guys, if you take him off the Colts for these past 10 years, then you would have never heard about the Colts, and they would be a 3-13 team every year, and just what he's capable of doing. What he's capable of doing with that team and how he prepares and the way he performs. He's playing at a high level, and he's been doing it for a long time.
Let's talk about the Gents. What happened last year? You guys looked like you were rolling. Looked like you were the best team in football the first 5 weeks, and then you don't make the playoffs.
You know, I don't know. It was a weird feeling for me. Obviously, I've been the starter for 5 years now, and it was my first year not making the playoffs. The first year kind of having that experience, and you know, I think sometimes, you know, the way we've been playing these last couple of years and start of the season, you just, you know, we got used to winning. You almost expected to win every game. We went out and we were just beating teams. We started the season just, you know, a big win at Dallas. We you know, beat some other teams pretty easily, and you know, we just kind of something fell apart a little bit. And just like it can happen in any sport, anything that can happen. You just all of a sudden you lose your rhythm. You lose some tough games. We kind of find it for a little bit. We won some. You know, we had a big win versus Atlanta in overtime. We thought, hey, maybe we'll get back on track, and then, you know, have a couple tough losses at Philly, and you know, but we get back at Washington. We ended poorly, but you know, we're 8-8 team, and you know, we're not far off from getting back. You know, it's not like we went 4-12 last year. We got the right people where we need them, the right characters, and the right guys in place. We just kind of got to play to our abilities. So I'm looking forward to this season. We started our all-season program last week. We had everybody here. Everybody's kind of itching to get back rolling, get back you know, working hard, and make sure that doesn't happen again.
Now, the thing that really baffled a lot of people, and I'm wondering if it also baffled you, it didn't seem like the team came to play the last 2 weeks. I mean, that's not Giant football. And even your owner, John Mara, said, I didn't like what I saw. What happened those 2 weeks?
You know, I don't know. I wish I had an answer. I wish I could say, hey, well, you know, this happened. That's why we played so poorly. But obviously that, you know, we just you know, we just got behind in games early on. You know, the start of the Carolina game, we got off to a great start. What seemed to be, we drive right down there, throw a touchdown to Steve Smith. Everything seems to be good. We get a holding call. We get another third down drive. You know, we get a first down to Manningham. We fumble, and they get the ball, and they ran it all over us that day. And you just get behind, and we fought as well we could. And then the Minnesota game was just a bad game, and you know, no excuse. But you know, it's you can dwell on those things right now, or you can just say, hey, you know, that's done with. Last season's over. This is our year. This is our season. Let's focus on this and get back to where we need to play.
This is an off the wall question, but I've always wondered this. I mean, sometimes quarterbacks get hit really hard. Yeah. Do you ever get hit so hard you want to cry? Like tears come to your eyes?
No, I haven't. I haven't yet. There we go. I haven't got some wood. You know, you get hit. You know, it's funny sometimes when quarterbacks, like, I guess your mind's thinking of other things. A lot of times your biggest hits, like you're throwing it and you release, and you get drilled, and you're kind of on the ground, and you start listening for the crowd to see whether it was a completion or not. You know, if you're at home, you hear people cheering. It's like, all right, completion. If you kind of hear nothing, then, you know, it's incompletion. You start hearing booing, you know, it's intercepted. And so, you know, so I think you're kind of thinking or trying to roll around to see what happened. And so I think you're kind of so focused on other things, you don't really feel the hit until sometimes you kind of get up and, you know, it's an interception. You're like, that really hurt one. If it's a touchdown, you're kind of cheering and you don't worry about it. So it's really not until Monday morning. Sometimes you get out of bed and you're like, yeah, that was that hit. That was Peppers from the blind side on that one right there, that rib. But besides that, you know, some games you feel great afterwards, and some games not as good.
Now, I know all throughout the season the plantar fasciitis was bothering you. How's that going? Feels
good. Feels great. It was just kind of a weird deal with that. It was just I didn't know much about it. Now I'm a foot expert, and it's amazing how many people like called me and was like calling my parents, emailing my brothers with treatments and different shoes and orthotics, and this didn't work, and so had a lot of insight on the plantar fasciitis, but now it's actually, since I ruptured my plantar fasciitis, I don't even have it anymore. So there's no more problems. You know, I cannot.
They removed it?
No, it just kind of disappears.
Okay.
It just kind of goes away. So I can never have any more issues with my plantar fasciitis in my right foot. So hopefully the left one stays good and strong.
Another thing I'm curious about: does Tom Coughlin ever smile? You ever see him laugh?
He does. He does smile. You know, there's kind of two different sides. There's off season Tom Coughlin and there's in season, and it's
so he's telling jokes in the off season.
Yeah, he really is. It throws like the first year, 5 years ago, my first year, it threw me off guard, and you kind of see it with the rookies now, or now coming into their second year, it kind of throws them off guard because during the season, I mean it's all business, no laughs, no jokes, kind of working, and he's great because he works hard and he's committed and he does everything about football, and then all of a sudden it's like you come for off season workouts in March, and he's laughing and smiling and where you been this off season, kind of wants to know like some kind of know about you a little bit. He's asking some questions, and these rookies are like, who is this guy? What's going on? And they're like, he's really changed. I'm like, no, it's just for 3 months until August hits, and you'll see he'll come back to his good old self.
So it's Dr. Coughlin and Mr. Hyde.
Exactly.
How do you like the new stadium? Have you been there yet?
I went to the new stadium last week, and it's awesome. It's kind of how you imagine a football stadium looking. It's just on the inside. I mean, it's it's I guess square footage wise, it's twice as big as the old stadium, but probably 2,000 more seats they said. But it just looks great. It doesn't have that tacky jumbo screen in the middle like Dallas. So it's
got that, Dallas? Yeah. Right in the camera. Now you're going to sign the wall in the new stadium? You angered a lot of Cowboys by signing the wall.
Someone asked me about that earlier. So I had a little. I did sign the wall at Dallas Stadium, but it's not like I just signed it like right in the middle of the locker room. I signed it. I'd say if 95% of the people who go into that locker room don't even see the signature. It's every locker room, opposing locker room has these attendants. That kind of work the locker room. They set up the lockers. They do all the dirty clothes and handle all the stuff afterwards. And so, it's the same guys for the past 6 years. You get to know them. You talk to them. You shake their hands after the game. And so
tip them
a little bit. They might give you something for the ride home. A cold Diet Pepsi or something. And so. And so they, say, hey, come back to they have their own locker room back there. They say, come back there, and they say, hey, we're starting a new tradition. We're going to start having players sign the wall here. I said, okay. So I've done it other places. In Philadelphia, you do it. Denver, you do it. Cincinnati, I've done it. And obviously, I was never the first person to do it. It's their first game there. So I signed the wall, not thinking anything of it. And I kind of wrote a little, first win in the new stadium. And, I wrote the score, but. No one's really supposed to. I don't know who got a picture of it, and obviously got in the papers, and they made a big deal about it. But this is too bad. It's actually funny. I guess when Dallas came, when they came to the Giants stadium a few months afterwards, we're playing the game, and we won that game. And I guess Jerry Jones happened to walk by and see my Jerry Jones see my wife and my parents, and kind of after he said, you know what, Eli deserved to sign that wall. So I kind of got permission from the head man, so I think it's over with now.
Now you mentioned your wife. So when you first started as a quarterback, you were a single man, and you really work hard at this. You're working all the time. Yeah. Do you have to change the way you prepare now because you have to get home for the wife?
No, she understands, and she's been with me since college, and my first year's here, and so she knows the drill, and it's hard on her. She likes the all season. I think she kind of sees me as like a Coach Coughlin. I kind of have an in season Eli and an all season Eli, where during the week, Tuesdays is our off day, but I'm at the facility most of the day there. Wednesday I get home at probably 6 o'clock, and we eat dinner, and then I'm watching film at 9 o'clock until I go to bed. She goes to bed before me, so it's not the easiest things for her, and she definitely can tell. Last year was tough on her as it was on me. The worse we're doing, or after a loss, I'm in a different mood than after a win. So. She wants us to win. She likes it better when we win, and sometimes we'll go celebrate go out to dinner on Sunday night or Monday night. So she likes those celebrating nights and not after a loss. So she's going to support me.
I'm going to tread in dangerous water here because I just wonder, Like, so you eat dinner and then you're watching film at 9 o'clock. Could the lovely Abby McGrew distract you where you stop watching film? Honey, come on, let's.
She's tried, I think. I think she's tried. We'll leave it at that.
So how do you think the team's going to do this year?
It's gonna be a good year, and as I said, I mean we got a lot of young talent, and we had some guys really step up last year. I mean, obviously coming in, I think this time last year, guys, you're asking about the receivers. Who's going to be your receivers? I think they answered a lot of those questions last year. Steve Smith and Akeem Dixon. We'll get Ramses Barton into the mix this year, so we have some young receivers who are very talented, and to have like an off season with them. A lot of these guys, we didn't have an off season with them, so that'll be good to get them working. Our running backs will be back and healthy. We had a lot of guys, banged up last year, had surgeries, and now are kind of back in the flow of things. And defense will be better. New defense coordinator, met with him. I like him a lot of energy. So he'll have those guys playing fast. So it's gonna be a good year for the Giants.
All right, so let's open up the floor. Some people might have questions. Yes, you may. This should be good.
I'm ready.
The best quarterback, the Mannings, was Archie.
That's a good question.
Do you disagree? I love you guys, but guess what? I watch your father play.
No, my dad was it's fun for me, the last couple of years or last 5 years, I get a lot of these guys will give me some DVDs and stuff of him playing college. I got like the 1970 Sugar Bowl, Ole Miss versus Arkansas and stuff, and then I have games with the Saints, and this is kind of it's not mean, but a lot of the videos and highlights reels that I saw my dad playing with the Saints were more bloopers than highlight reels. So I know it's mean. No, some were great plays by him, but he's like Oilers uniform and he's running around backwards and winging it underhand and getting killed or him getting sacked. So I've seen some games recently, and he was he was a tremendous athlete and just and it's been fun for me to. These past couple of years, seeing former players that not only he played against, not only played with against, and they all come up to me and just tell me what a tremendous person my dad was, and they love watching him compete and playing against them, and so that's been special for me to kind of hear people say that about my father.
Also, Eli, tell you what, thank you, Dad. Thank you, Dad, because you know something? Go Giants.
There you go. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Right before the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Patriots, heavy favorites. Brady put odds by you. You almost extended your hand out to acknowledge him, and he blows you off. What went through your mind?
No, I ran by him.
Oh, come on.
No, I really did. I wasn't gonna stop and we played against him before, and I've talked. I know before the game, and I kind of ran by him and just kind of patted him and kept running. So, it wasn't. I was kind of getting to a drill. So, people kind of made a deal about that, but I didn't. I never saw that. I never recognized that, and I saw Tom. A couple of weeks after the game, and we didn't even talk about that. But Tom's always been very nice to me, and so that wasn't an issue. I never felt that. I never noticed that.
You, Powers?
Stand up.
More of a statement. I'm a transplanted New Yorker, live in Boston now, so I moved up there in '06. Red Sox win the World Series in '07. Total nightmare for me.
So what?
Yankee fan, the whole bit. Going into that game, all those Patriots fans were just killing me. I just kept saying, I like our chances. So, game's over. I blackberried like 15 people. I just strafed them all. And I just want to say thank you.
I could help you out. There are several apartments available in New York if you want to move back. You don't have to live in Boston. All right. Back there?
Of all the players in the league, is there one guy when that Sunday starts, you're going to wake up Monday in a lot of pain?
No, I mean nothing's guaranteed. You kind of hope, Ware from Dallas, DeMarcus Ware is a tremendous player, and we put a lot of attention to him, and that's a guy you know you're going to play twice a year, every year. We've played him 3 times in a year before, so he's a guy who you prepare for, and you know where he is, and you kind of set up your blocking schemes that week to prepare for him. There's a couple others that you play every once in a while. Jared Allen's a talent. Peppers is a talent, but I'd say Ware from Dallas is.
What about the dirtiest?
I don't get a whole lot of dirty hits. You kind of hear about it and you see some of it, but guys don't talk a whole lot of trash to me. They're not kicking me extra or kind of shoving me down. So I really don't get a whole lot of it.
Because you're a nice guy.
I guess so.
No, because there are a lot of quarterbacks that talk a lot.
Yeah, I'm not a talk. I'm not. I think it's one of those deals as a quarterback. If you're talking a little trash and we kind of go. I try not to make anything harder on my offensive line than I have to be. Sometimes you see there's a couple of those players that some of those D tackles and stuff who if you make them mad, they're kind of those guys who are like an Albert Hainsworth or something. It's kind of. He's a nice guy, but if you kind of make him mad or cheap shot him or cut him, then all of a sudden he'll start playing a little bit harder. And so I was like, those guys are always saying, hey, they're always like being very friendly to him the whole time and saying, don't make him mad, just block him. And so I'm not trying to talk trash and make their job any harder than it has to be.
Now, I've heard stories about, offensive linemen, they protect your hide, literally and figuratively. So I've heard quarterbacks buy expensive gifts for their offensive line, like Rolexes, cars. What's the most expensive gift that you bought an offensive lineman?
I've done a few things, and the way I do it, I kind of base it on the year that we had. This year I got him nothing. and it's
They
but.
don't do money.
No, but I think they kind of I've not that I talked to them with it, but our offensive linemen, they have a lot of pride. They have a lot of pride in what they do, and they're not doing it to get a gift. And they after the Super Bowl, I got them a watch. I've gotten tailor-made suits. I've sent them on trips to Hawaii. So I've done a lot of things, but it's kind of the first year. Hey, we didn't make the playoffs this year. It was a bad season. It's just I wasn't in the real gift-giving mood, I guess. So, I think I actually ordered some, just like a camera, like a digital camera. A lot of them have kids or something, but I don't think they ever came in. So I never I don't know what happened.
Lots of chocolates.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Yes, sir.
Do you like the new rule with the overtime?
Yeah, I think it's fine. Obviously, if I'll like it if it happens to us. That means we're in the playoffs, and that's a good start. But I think it'll be interesting. It'll kind of take some thinking a little bit. I'm interested. I talked to Coach Kaufman about it a little bit the other week, and just kind of how you'd game plan that, or just whether you kick a field goal or go for it. If you have the ball first or not. Kind of what the thought process on some of those things would be. So I'll be interesting. That's kind of what I've been doing the last couple of days, just kind of thinking about the circumstances and when do you kick a field goal, when do you try to go for it on 4th down, and those type of situations. But I think it's a pretty good rule about a team just especially a playoff game, and you kick off, they return it to the 35-yard line, they drive, they get 2 first downs and can kick a field goal and win. It's kind of like, hey, I want my shot, and but so I think it's a pretty good rule.
You know what doesn't make sense to me, though, Eli? They have it in the playoffs. Okay, great. Well, Week 15 can get a team into the playoffs. Why don't you have it during the regular season? Doesn't make sense.
Well, you're asking the wrong guy,
Mm-hmm.
That makes perfect sense to me, and it's one of those things that kind of with the replay, I guess they'll probably try it these first couple of years and see if it comes up, and then maybe eventually take it into the whole league.
I think the only reason they did it this year is because God didn't get a second chance. Brett Favre didn't get the ball in his hand, so the league didn't want that. So
of course, yeah.
Yes.
What do you think the Giants have to do in order to get back to the postseason this year?
I don't think we have to make these, a total redo or total change. I think we have a lot of the guys we need to be a good team and make it into the playoffs and make a run. It's just kind of, getting a refocus, getting a new attitude, and kind of get back to playing Giant football. And that's just a certain, toughness and just kind of gritty attitude and just, kind of the last couple of years, teams didn't want to play the Giants. It's kind of after you play the Giants, you're sore, you're hurting, and fearing coming into Giant Stadium and a tough crowd, and so we got to kind of get back to that mentality.
And the 5 offensive linemen want to get back so badly just to get
present.
that gift.
They want that present.
Yes?
A good friend of mine is the team chiropractor for the New York Yankees, and a lot of the players have had a tremendous result healthcare-wise because it's using something that you don't have to ingest in order to prevent injuries and to recover from injuries. Enrolling in sports medicine acupuncture program, and I was curious, as a player, is that something that you think you or other players would utilize, especially with the foot, because that's something that we treat very well?
Yeah, we have a chiropractor for our team that comes 2 or 3 days a week, and I see him every day he comes. And I'm kind of all about taking care of kind of what you put into your body, what you do your body, taking care of your body the longer you'll play, and the healthier you be. So I'm big on massage and acupuncture. I haven't got into acupuncture yet, but if they told me that it would help in something, I would do it for sure. But I do get aligned in my alignment and make sure all those things are where they need to be. So a lot of our players do it, and a lot of our players do acupuncture, and in the NFL, just you got to have that quick recovery, especially those offensive linemen and stuff. It's you get hit and you're getting pounded, and you got to be able to bounce back and be at that practice on Wednesday and ready to go.
Way back there.
I'm a Giant fan for a really long time. One of the things that I guess disturbs me about sports in general is sort of trading of players. Beginning of the year, it happens more in other sports than perhaps it does in football. But I was just curious to know, a couple of years ago, how much trouble in the huddle there was, how much truth there was to the huddle rumors about Jeremy Shockey and T.P. Barber, and how difficult that might have been.
We never had any problems in the huddle. Shockey wasn't a guy who came back and talked back to me or said things to me. He kind of had some antics. If he didn't get the ball thrown to him, he kind of waved his hands up in the air and this and that. Or if I threw a perfect pass and he dropped another one, he'd wave his hands in the air. So it was more of that kind of stuff. Tiki and I never had Tiki and I were pals and never had a problem. Then, he kind of came out, like week 4, he decided, he declared he was going to retire. This was his last season, and I'm reading articles and it's saying, my heart's just not in it anymore. I'm like, yeah, no kidding. You got Urlacher blitzing up the middle and you're supposed to block him. I can tell you're like, hey, Olay, here you go. And so, there wasn't any problems though. We had, but there was no like locker room problems, and we got along. And it's one of those deals. Sometimes the media will make a bigger deal about that kind of stuff, and it's once we were in the locker rooms, meetings, practice, everything was fine. But it's one of those deals where kind of the better the season's going, the less problems there are. If you lose a few games, and then obviously people start talking and they feel it's gonna make it better if they tell their opinion to the media. That's gonna fix the problem, where it just magnifies it. It's perfect. We have a perfect family gathering. We have Thanksgiving dinner and everything.
Yes, sir. All right. There's been lots of talk about when you got drafted by the Giants, and you were introduced as being a New Yorker now. Maybe you could give us a little insight on what really happened and how that whole thing happened with San Diego and coming to the Giants. And believe me, we're all very happy you're here. Real happy.
I'm glad to be here. I think it's how do I explain it? It was I didn't want to go to San Diego. That was just kind of it. And people were like, why do you not want to go to San Diego? You ever been to San Diego? It's beautiful. You can surf. You got the beach. It's weather. I'm like, yeah, but I'm not going there to surf or go to the beach. I'm going there to play football. And I just parts of their organization and stuff. I just I didn't agree with and feel strongly that they were totally committed to their football and everything. And they've had great seasons since then, and they've had great teams. And Phillip Rivers is a tremendous player, and they've done some great things. But it's just and it wasn't about coming to New York. I never said I wanted to come to New York. I did want to come to New York, but I never said that. And Oakland was the second pick, and Arizona was the third pick, and I was going to go there also. Here's a kind of funny story. I guess I can tell now, but it's about 15 minutes before the draft, just between us and this cameraman. It's about about 15 minutes before the draft, my agent Tom Condon comes in and said, "Eli, I got good news and I got bad news." He said, "I said I'll take the good news." He said, "Well, the Chargers are talking about trading you." I said, "All right, that's what we wanted." I said, "What's the bad news?" He said, "Well, they're talking to Cleveland, and we're not going to Cleveland either." So I was like, "Oh, great! I can't do that. I can't." But it all worked out. I was drafted by San Diego, ended up going, getting traded 35 minutes later to New York, and I think both teams are happy with how it turned out.
Did you actually put on the Charger cap?
No, never.
So when you went up to shake the commissioner's hand, you didn't put on the cap?
No, I held up the jersey because I had to.
Right.
And we tried not to do that. But I never put on the hat. I just kind of held it in my hand.
Interesting. Now, before we let Eli go, I just want to tell you a quick story about Eli Manning. And I don't mean to embarrass him. We have a lot of guests on the show, and we call them weekly guests that are booked. And my producer, Ryan Hurley, usually has to track them down. If they're supposed to be on Tuesdays at 4:20, it's 4:20, it's 4:25, and Ryan has to furiously be calling. Eli Manning, for the last 5 years, has been on our show every Monday at 5:40. And no matter how great he did on Sunday or how poorly he did on Sunday, he calls. We don't have to call him. He'll call at 5:35 all the time. And I really don't think it has that much to do that he has this insatiable desire to talk to me. But he's one of the classiest athletes that we have in New York. He's right along the lines of a Derek Jeter and somebody like that. He's never going to embarrass the Giants. We're so proud that he's been with ESPN as long as he has. And you've been a great ambassador for the Giants and for us. So thank you,
Michael. It's been fun.